it's Fat Albert, and welcome to another ASMR video. It's been a bit since my last video, so hey, it's been a bit. The reason why, I don't upload that much to be honest, but when I do, I try to come up with ideas, and today why not show you some of the books I've been reading so far. So, as a few have I told you before, I read manga and kind of stuff. That's not all I read. I don't just read manga, I also read other books. And today I'll be showing you a book and maybe even reading a page out of it from the beginning, of course. Not to spoil anything if you wanted to read it yourself, but I'll be reading I'll be showing you my book here called The American Prometheus, The Triumph and Tragedy of J. Robert Oppenheimer. With this book, I bought this book because I watched Christopher Nolan's The Oppenheimer, and I thought, wow, that's a really good movie, and it deserves more love. And so I decided to buy the book because I'm pretty sure he said in an interview that it was based off this book because all the research had been done, and all he just did was write into a screenplay. He might have done some more research on his part, but I'm not too sure. I only watched that one interview, so I'm not too sure myself. Anyways, I've been reading this book because, I've always found the inventor of the atom bomb kind of fascinating. It's kind of a dilemma of some sorts, Some people think that he's the reason why the Japanese got bombed, but then, there's some who say he made the bomb, but he didn't actually drop it, so on and so forth. It's all back and forth. It's a whole ordeal. But I will say, actually going into Robert Oppenheimer's mind and seeing how he went from just a regular commoner person who just loved science to ultimately helping the United States in building the atomic bomb that would, would lead to the surrender of the Japanese in World War II. But Christopher Nolan did an amazing job of. Christopher Nolan did a really amazing job of really just putting it in bite-sized pieces. And well, while he did do a good job of that, I will say the book does offer more, I should say, in-depth into his life, because you can only put so much in a movie. Reading the actual book just gives more detail. Also, he put his own little cinematic flair to it by I believe adding some things that were never really said in the book. Some parts, if you haven't seen the movie, there are some scenes that go full color, which means it's in records. We have that on records, what they did or what they said. But once, let's say we go to another scene and it goes black and white, then it goes to kind of Christopher Nolan's interpretation of it, or what could have happened. But we don't have records of it because, well, it didn't happen, but we think it might have happened, or I should say Nolan thought it happened, so on and so forth. So yeah, anyways, here's him as a little young lad. Now you can see it. There's right there. Well, he's a young lad, yeah. Actually, the guy who they got to play him, Cillian Murphy, actually does resemble him quite a bit. I never really thought about it, did I? They actually did a really good job. Anyway, this won the Pulitzer Prize. Not makes sense. This is an amazing book. I'm only I think I'm only I'm actually on chapter, it's right here, actually. some of you do want to read it on your own time. But I will be reading at least the first page of the book. But before I read the first page, let me give you some sounds of the book itself. Now, while I can't give you too much from the book, I can at least show you a picture, because this book does have pictures, real pictures of like Oppenheimer and some of the people he worked around with, and even some of his acquaintances, and so it's a really well-researched book. I'll show you this one here. This is from chapter 20 right here, and here we have, as a young child, Robert, seated on the right with a friend, had a passion for blocks and collecting rock specimens. So, let me show you real fast here. As you can see here, so this is right here. This is Robert. This is Robert right here. This one right here. And this is his friend. And right here, you can see this mother and son right here. This is Ella and Robert, and I believe Ella is his mother. Don't quote me on that though. Really, don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that one. And we also have a little quote that he said here. I was an unctuous, repulsively good little boy, Oppenheimer later said. My life as a child did not prepare me for the fact that the world is full of cruel and bitter things. Now that is a very deep quote from Oppenheimer himself. He was just calling his younger self naive and a goody two shoes, and didn't really grasp on how the world is cruel and cold. But that's a very negative way of looking at things, Some people may believe that train of thought, but some people like myself, I believe life is beautiful. You know what I mean? Let's see what I can show you without giving too much away. Here we go. So, actually, never mind, not that one, because I cannot give you too much information about that. Here it is. Okay, I'm gonna be showing you a photo of Oppenheimer, I believe, and the Trinity explosion. Now, the Trinity explosion is what the first rendition of the atomic bomb was. It's kind of like their prototype, and this test really was a make or break, I believe. I remember correctly. This was like a make or break kind of thing. So, like, if this thing failed, then they didn't have an atomic bomb, and they were kind of on a deadline of some sort, if I remember correctly. If I remember correctly, they were on a deadline, I believe, or not on a deadline, but they needed it fast. But here we have, wearing his pork pie hat, Oppenheimer leans over the gadget on top of the Trinity site tower, just hours before the test. Below the Trinity explosion. Okay, so here we have it. So right here, this is Oppenheimer. Right here is before the explosion. I'm pretty sure just looking at the bomb. And then below that is the actual picture of the Trinity. The mother of the atomic bomb, or the first rendition of it. Right here. Now, I really like this kind of history because what they teach you in school about World War II, like, about the German Nazis and that kind of stuff. But what I like about some parts of World War II is actually the sciencey parts, like, or like even like the military strategic parts. Like, for example, Blitzkrieg from World War II from the Nazis, how they just went hard and fast, and kind of actually they invented Blitzkrieg. And I'm not saying I'm well informed of it. I'm not, far from it, but learning about the atomic bomb is something that I really like to listen, because the atomic bomb is kind of really a turning point for humanity. Is that a good thing or bad thing? That's up to you, but it really is such a, I'd say such a really, well, I'm not finding the word to say, but you know what I mean. Hopefully, I don't know. Before I read a page of this book, I'm going to read what Christopher Nolan said. Christopher Nolan does have a little paragraph here, because he read the book and he based his movie off this book. So here you have a riveting account of one of history's most essential and paradoxical figures. Christopher Nolan out here with this big ass vocabulary. Good for him, you know. Good for him. People say a masterful account of Oppenheimer's rise and fall, set in the context of the turbulent decades of America's own transformation. It is a tour de force, added by the Los Angeles Book Review. A work of voluminous scholarships and lucid insight, unifying its multifaceted portrait with a keen grasp of Oppenheimer's essential nature. It succeeds in its deeply fathoming his most damaging self-contradictory behavior. That is from the New York Times. And then we have Newsweek, which says, this definitive biography, Oppenheimer's life does not influence us, it haunts us, which is, wow, what a way, what a phrase. You know what I mean? What a phrase. Oh, what's in right there? That's Juice WRLD. Anyways, what a phrase, you know. Now, I'm going to read you. Now, before I read you this one page of the book, let me just show you what a dapper man. He was very dapper. He was very dapper. He really was a dapper young man. So here we have him as a young lad, and if you have seen Oppenheimer, then you can really see how they nailed the casting with Cillian Murphy, which is ridiculous. That's so cool how they just nailed it, and how they made him look. And Cillian Murphy looks just like him, like almost. It's almost kind of eerie. Of course, you know. I think, if I remember quickly, I think he was British, right? Like he was British, British, right? Anyways, I believe it's been a bit. I did say I was reading this book, but I have taken I'd say about 3-4, like almost a month hiatus from it, since I kind of read it religiously for quite a while. But then it's so long, I decided I need to take a break from it, or else I'd get burnt out, and I don't want to get burnt out from this book. It was so good, so good. Thanks. Anyway, so what I want to do here today, right now, is read you a true page, and I'm going to read you the first page from the book here. It's called Chapter 1. You received every new idea as perfectly beautiful. I was an unctuous, repulsively good little boy. Robert Oppenheimer. Okay, so I'm only going to read you the first page. So, in the first decade of the 20th century, science initiated a second American Revolution. A nation on horseback was soon transformed by the internal combustion engine, manned flight, and a multitude of other inventions. These technological innovations quickly changed the lives of ordinary men and women by simultaneously. An historic band of scientists was creating an even more fundamental revolution. Theoretical physicists across the globe were beginning to alter the way we understand space and time. physicist Henry Becquerel. I completely butchered that word, by the way. I'm so sorry. Max Planck, Marie Curie, and Pierre Curie, and others provided further insight into the nature of the atom. And then in 1905, Albert Einstein published his special theory of relativity. Suddenly, the universe appeared to have changed. Now, the theory of relativity really did change. They came back on the day in science. Okay, I'm not going to speak like I know it all. I really don't. I'm not that into science, but I do remember hearing it from the movie and reading a bit in the book how the theory of relativity was really, mind-blowing and game-breaking for the science field. Around the globe, scientists were soon to be celebrated as a new kind of hero, promising to usher in a renaissance of rationality, prosperity, and social meritocracy. In America, reform movements were challenging the old order. Theodore Roosevelt was using the bully pulpit of the White House to argue that good government in alliance with science and applied technology could forge an enlightened new progressive era. And that's where I'll stop right now. Big words. This book isn't for everybody, honestly. If you just like historical facts and maybe even a bit about Oppenheimer, then I think I'd suggest you read it or look a bit into it, or even just watch the movie. If you like the movie, you'll more than likely like the book. That's how I went to it anyways. So, before I leave and end this video, what I want to do is say the World Cup ended and we got a decisive winner in the World Cup. Spain won against Argentina. Now, I will not lie to you, I was rooting for Spain because Argentinians were playing kind of dirty, but that's neither here nor there, okay? Now, I will say, I'm not that big into football. Soccer, for us American folks here, I should say. But, how does this tie into the World War II conversation? Well, because I remembered hearing about the World Cup was canceled for 12 years during and after World War II because of the devastation. But, that's all I wanted to say. Oppenheimer is an amazing and really, kind of like once-in-a-lifetime kind of genius. Now, was he a good person or not? That's up to you. Like I said, it's a social dilemma about your morals and about your how you view what a good person is. I personally think he was a good person who just happened to make something that could destroy humanity. But every human is a flaw. No human is perfect. Most of us are just going through life full of flaws, and it's normal. And we just need to be upfront with ourselves, like he was in the end. He knew what he did was wrong, and he felt guilty of it because of his invention. Thousands of people have died in a different country. But yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to show off my book and kind of let you guys know I've been reading Oppenheimer. Well, I said I've been reading, but come on, I took a little month hiatus from it. So anyways, that's all I wanted to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I saw that I got 5 subscribers now. Thank you guys so much for the love, and thank you guys so much thank you to the guys who liked. Even if you don't subscribe, I really do appreciate the likes and views much more, because it shows you're actually watching and you're liking it, so it goes into the algorithm, which I really do appreciate. Anyways, my kings and queens, that's all I'll call you guys, because every single person, no matter who they are, man or woman, or kings and queens. I'll see you guys in my next video.